The following Earth Angel Media presentation is brought to you commercial-free as a gratuity from the sponsor-producer named after the show. Please consider their message. Find other high-value shows listed at earthangelproject.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Soul Decodes. Join us as we wander off the path to find the ideas that fascinate. We talk about spirituality, the mind, the ego, wellness, and hidden history with tips, travels, and tales. Charms for a better life.
I must have dreamed 1,000 dreams, been haunted by 1,000,000 screams, but I can hear the marching feet. They're moving into the street. Did you read the news today? They say the danger's gone away, but I can see the fire still alight. They're burning into the night. There's too many men, too many people making too many problems, and not much love to go around. Can't you see this is the land of confusion? This is the world we live in, and these are the hands we're given. Use them and let's start trying to make it a place worth living in.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Dr. Jolie Phillips, and we're at the Phillips Island once again. Before we get started, I'm here with the lovely Sarah Tirri. Before we get started, I want to thank, we have, those of you who heard the introduction, you heard a beautiful voice, and that's Jenna Sharp.
And she's English.
And she's English. And so, if, I got the link in the show notes. If you need to hire a beautiful voice in England, please go ahead and give her a call.
Stunning
voice.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll hear the rest of her on the outro. I'm going to put the second half of it
good.
on the outro. So there's that. But Sarah, you and I, except for that entrepreneur group, we haven't seen each other for a long time.
We've got a lot to catch up on.
Well, you were going to...
Was the last one our New Year's podcast?
Say it again?
Was it our New Year's podcast? Because I was going on the cruise. I think that might have been our last one.
We pre-recorded, then you were going to go on a cruise. Then you had to cancel because you were going on your anniversary. There's this big to-do with New Year's, and you said the restaurant wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Oh, yeah. Shit went down. It was all good, though, because it came right back up and was better.
So it wasn't that good. And then... But then you went to England and you had the thing with your family, so we had to catch up on that.
Well, that needs to be another podcast.
I know nothing about it.
Well, I can talk about that one now. Now Sally is buried and in heaven. I can go. So we'll do a special for Sally.
All right. So we're going to get into this, but this is a special episode because yesterday was the so-called inauguration.
Oh, we got so-called, have we?
So we're going to cover that. But for those of you listening to this Soul Decodes for the first time, Sarah, please just get people, if they're first time listening, get them caught up about what is Soul Decodes, how did it start, and what is this all about?
Well, Soul Decodes is the podcast that you're listening to, and this is what Tirri, Jolie and I concocted, and we loved it, and that's what we're going to continue to do. We both ask a lot of questions, and we get a lot of answers, so we're here to talk about our ideas and all the things we think about. I'm a writer, philosopher, thinker, and broadcaster. Tirri, Jolie is a holistic doctor, serial entrepreneur. with more things going on and creators. So, and I write books and I mention them as we speak, so I can continue to do that. So,
yeah, and I did set up Sarah with a bookstore. Like, she didn't have a bookstore that was readily available right away. Now she's changing that, but in the interim, I set up a bookstore at souldecodes.com. So if we're talking about a book, if she mentions a book, you can go to that site and find it.
Yes, and the one that's going to come up a lot, well, they all will, but in relation to the inauguration, it would be the mirror world. So I'll bridge that gap in a minute.
Okay, so to bring everybody current, basically, Sarah and I are pretty new friends. We've known each other maybe a year and a half now, and there was this resonance. Very similar people coming at the world from a different direction. One thing we noticed right away was that we did ask a lot of questions, but we both recognized that we're on a soul's journey.
Yes.
Each one of us has got a soul. We have a purpose. Sometimes we're clear on our purpose, sometimes we're not.
Well, we still have one. It's in our life plan,
Right.
but you have to ask to get that. It's ask and thou shalt receive. You won't get your life plan uploaded into your mind unless you ask, because it violates the law of free will. So yes, but you know yours and I know mine. So that's great.
Well, I know part of it.
I know all mine.
So the point is, when you're listening to this, please understand we're new friends. We're still learning about each other.
Well, we're getting to know each other on the mic. I mean, we see each other, but it's compared to you're literally listening to a friendship being built.
And there's a lot of times for those of you just meeting us for the first time where when Sarah and I were brand new friends, we would literally say, no, don't tell me.
I know.
Let's talk about it.
That was horrible having to hold it all in.
It's like, no, but I want to tell, because it's like you want to tell your girlfriend, but you can't tell the girlfriend. It's like so funny. So yesterday was this inauguration event.
I'm glad you didn't say so-called again.
Okay, you're so-called.
So tell me about the so-called.
Well, no, I want to hear from you first. So what is because you're as usual, you're looking at it from a slightly different angle than me. There's going to be some things that are very complimentary and some things that maybe we still need to explore.
Yeah, sure.
So
I mean, some of my observation are very trivial, and we can get to those like all the fashion. But the first thing I want to say about it, and there's so much I want to say about it, and we can just go back and forward. But so I wrote this book, The Mirror World, and we're all living, I believe, in a computer simulation of a making from a benevolent maker, whatever that looks like. And this is basically like a holodeck with the safety protocols off. We come in and out of incarnations, choose different bodies, different genders, different lifetimes, mums, dads, aunts, uncles, children. And we're just going to do the gamut. So this isn't our real home. And it is kind of what the Hindus think about it being Maya, which is an illusion. It doesn't feel like an illusion, because if I put my hand on a hot stove, it's going to fucking hurt. But it is an illusion to some degree. And in my book, The Mirror World, I talk about the external reality and the internal reality. And what my only concern, and we can talk about the rest of it, shit is going to go down. Trump is going to stir things up like you wouldn't believe. I agree with a lot of what he's doing, most of it actually. But don't let this lower your vibration. And that's a real problem, because you're here to manifest, you're here to be on a higher vibration, and you're going to have to watch this like you're watching a movie. Get the popcorn and watch it like the Truman Show, just like it's a movie. Now, do what you can to help if you can, and that comes in any shape or form. But don't allow it to tank your vibration, because Armageddon can technically get created if enough people believe it's true. So watch what you think about and watch your vibration. That's my sermon for today.
Thank you, Reverend. So, Sarah, you asked me to take notes. I was actually very busy doing other things, and I intended to watch the inauguration just for the...
Oh, it was great.
The pomp and circumstance, the pageantry and all this. But you asked me to sit down and take notes.
Yeah.
So I did so.
Did you?
So I've got...
look at them.
I've got 5 pages of notes.
Oh, good. Let's hit them.
But for those of you, but before we dive into any of these, some of these, we're going to go through very quickly.
Yeah.
But before we do this, I want to echo something that Sarah said. Each one of us has a soul's journey, and what's going on around us right now can be as real as you want it to be.
Yeah.
It can be as impactful as you want it to be.
Or not.
Or not.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself these questions. Who are you? not the flesh and blood, but the soul. What's your journey about? What is it that you're trying to take out of this experience? Because my framework is that this is a perfect experience for all of us. Your experience is different than mine. It's different circumstances.
In this lifetime.
In this lifetime. They're very different, but they're perfect for you with what you need to learn at this moment in time, right?
Yeah.
And same thing with me. The things that the challenges, the opportunities, the things that I'm going through are also perfect for me.
That's right.
Based on my soul's journey. So as we talk about this inauguration, let's not get in the weeds too much about what if. Really,
it doesn't really matter what if. It's going to be whatever it is.
Right.
And we just stay calm and just keep your vibration high. That if everyone watching this hires their vibration, then we're actually going to impact the outcome. So I would just say, just keep your vibration high, and you're not in control of a lot of what's going on, so you can't do anything about it anyway. And I don't think we should get in the weeds too much. When we can put our big toe in if we need to. But,
that's fine. So we won't do a deep dive because there's plenty of things I'm going to bring up that are deep dives.
Yeah.
But keep in the back of your mind that this conversation is shrouded, completely enveloped in love, and with the spirit of helping us advance spiritually, with our soul having a really amazing experience. Now, some of you, when I throw some things out here, are going to be very, very like, what's this Dr. Phillips all about?
Well,
what a whack job. But what I will say is, if I can get you to question things, that's all I care about.
Yes.
All I want you to do is question me. I'm not making any claims about what is right or what is wrong, but I think we need to knock, we need to seek, we need to ask.
Yeah.
So if I can get you to do those three things, then this Soul Decodes episode is going to be very successful.
Great. I agree with you.
What do you think?
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I did not watch everything. I sat down and watched most of it, but the first thing I thought about was, I think it's
Can
important.
I just get one thing out the way?
Yeah, sure.
Just Melania. Okay, so I wanted to see her outfit, right? This was a big, important thing, and I thought she looked fantastic in the first inauguration. I don't know whether you saw her hat. I like boater hats, but she brought it down so no one could see her eyes. So she could tilt her head back to see, or she could bring it down. And I wondered about that. Is that because she's sad and unhappy, or is it just like a fuck you to everyone? I just want to skate through this day. I couldn't understand why this very dramatic face-hiding hat. What's your take on it? I mean, I love boaters, but I just we couldn't see her. I just wanted to see her reaction, and she hid it.
So
I might have done the same thing, though. I mean, God.
So in the military, there's what's called the Signal Corps. Do you know what the Signal Corps is? Have you ever seen in the maritime, the sailors, they had all these colorful flags with different shapes and colors?
Yes.
All right. Each one of those flags represents different things. Some are letters, some are numbers, some are symbols. So when you look back, you have to decipher a lot of the things. Melania has been the ship. She has been the flagship of everything President Trump does. So I think it's admirable that you've looked at her and said, and made note about what she's wearing, what's she doing. Melania is...
What's she signaling,
is the flagship. So when you look back over history and you look at the print, you look at the colors, you look at the shapes of everything she's worn for the past 6 years, everything has meaning.
Wow.
So when you look at yesterday, there were really 3 different takes that I had, and I don't know the right one.
No, me neither.
But the 3 takes I had was, number one, when you look at her, the shape and structure of her hat, to me it was reminiscent of a few different things. One, if you've ever watched the movie V for Vendetta.
You've told me about that.
Right.
So has Frank.
When you
watch that.
When you look at Guy Fawkes, who's the hero, he wears that type of hat. And she wore it the same eye level and same everything. So it was very reminiscent of that. The second thing I noted was that she also, she wore the same type of, it was the same feel I had with Princess Diana.
Oh,
So
yes, very reminiscent.
Very, very reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
But the third thing, when you flash back to the Signal Corps, because as a military operator, you always look for the signals. You look for the things that are, and this is just martial arts. There's a lot of misdirection. You can't look at what the news is putting in your face. You can't look at what they're saying. You can't look at who's singing. You have to look past it, look at what's not being said, look at who's not talking. You have to look at the things that are not obvious.
And that's where you put your attention.
So if most of the time I was looking at the surroundings, looking at the backdrop, looking at
other people's reactions. I was too. Yeah.
All the things that most people don't look at.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching this, analysing this.
Sure.
I've only seen it once, but I'm doing the same as you. It's very interesting.
So if you know anything about the signal corps, you can look at her colors. Like if you look at the side of her hat, like the band on her hat, the blue and the white and the blue horizontal stripe, that's actually the letter J.
Oh.
It represents the letter J.
I wonder what the J means.
Well, I mean, I was thinking about it. I don't know what the J means, but to me there was a big thing about J6, right? So I saw the J, so I saw the letter for J on her hat. Like that's basically like her wearing a J on her hat.
And do you think she knows she's wearing a J on her hat, or she just got someone
I think she's dialed into
her?
everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the way I think things are happening are way different than
a lot of people.
Virtually everybody.
Yeah,
I think there's
good.
probably fewer than 1,000 people that really dive in as much as I like to dive in. But I was looking for the indicator for a 6 because my inclination was that it was a J6 because a lot of yesterday was about J6. So I saw the J on the...
You'll have to just tell our listeners what just a cursory overview
Yeah, so
of what
J6
is.
basically the... Well, let me go back to
go
J6.
ahead. Yeah.
The short answer is J6 stands for January 6th.
Oh, okay.
Which is
Right.
when the so-called insurrection of these rebel patriots and the attempted takeover of the People's House, the White House, whatever. So that's all a storyline. But basically the incarceration of Americans on American soil. Some of them are just wandering through the Capitol and they get incarcerated for 4 years. So that's the J6. There was unjust. There was a weaponization of our system against Americans.
Then you've got the J for justice.
Yeah, so there's different places the J could play in, or we could be completely off track on that. I don't know. This will come back.
Jubilee. Yeah, that's interesting.
It could be Jubilee, but I personally think that what you have to do is look at what this character called Joe Biden, what that character in this play, what did he do on his way out the door? Well, first thing he did was he pardoned a whole bunch of people, right?
I'd have done the same thing, though. I can't judge him for that.
But he's pardoning people for things they may or may not have ever done.
Well, then they deserve a pardon if they didn't do it then, right?
Right, but if they didn't do it, then why would they need a pardon?
Well, that's a backstory. At least
Right.
he's making it right.
Well, I mean, so first of all, if the whole idea of pardoning somebody
has to imply they're guilty.
It's antithetical to a justice system. How just is it for somebody to have favor with the president and get pardoned?
Yeah, I know. Right?
Regardless what it is, let the justice flow. Let there be a fair and just system. So the whole idea, I think we need to completely rethink this whole idea of pardoning somebody.
So what, you would abolish it?
Well, I mean...
But what if you found out later that person was guilty? It shouldn't be called a pardon. It should be reparations at that point. And then, but having this, if I'd have been Joe Biden and he pardoned his son, that's just one I'm going to focus on now. I absolutely know if I was president, I would have done the same thing to my kids. I just know I would.
Okay, well, I would. I mean, I love my children, but
you'd let them go to jail.
Listen, I mean,
I couldn't do it.
Well, I love my children, but when you look at the crimes. When you look at the aggregation of all the crimes that the Bidens, the Clintons, the Bushes.
Well, I was just talking about his son.
I know, but I'm talking about the Biden crime family.
Oh my God, really?
And
the Biden crime family, it's like a mafia.
Oh, it's worse than a mafia. And how they laundered money through Ukraine. How they used cryptocurrencies like to launder money and funnel back. There's a big pay-to-play scheme. And this goes back to the Clintons, Hillary Clinton with Uranium One. It goes to selling state secrets. So we have a lot of cleaning up to do.
Yeah.
I want to point to one thing that's going to be really pivotal. It's a question that nobody's going to be able to answer, but without getting too deep into the weeds, for those of you listening to the first time, my strong hypothesis is that we're witnessing a covert military operation that's been in place really since about 2012.
And this is the good thing.
This is a good thing.
This is the remedy for all the bullshit.
This is a good thing for Americans.
Yes.
Not for U.S. citizens. Two different animals. Americans are different than U.S. citizens, and this is going to be pivotal. We've talked about this in previous episodes. There's a difference between a constitutional American that's attached to the soil, that is born here in America. Right?
Yeah.
If you're, like, I'm from Michigan. I'm a Michigan national.
Now, I'm an immigrant, so what does that make me?
That makes you a naturalized American. But there was a legal process you went through.
Yeah.
So you're an American citizen.
But not...
You're an American citizen.
But what am I not?
Well, you were born in England, right?
Yes.
So you're an English national.
Okay, yeah.
You're an English national.
And an American citizen.
But you're an American citizen.
Yes.
The words matter, because now you're going to get into all these things. Well, what's a resident? All this stuff. What's an illegal resident? You have to look at Black's Law. There's different Black's Law dictionaries. Every word matters.
So this military operation is for the people, to benefit the people born in America.
Well, no.
Oh.
It will benefit, excuse me, it will benefit the people in America. However, this is a world operation. So let me just back up. Let me just back this up. Again, y'all, this is my hypothesis.
Yeah.
I could be completely out.
We both could be.
But all I'm looking for is answers.
Ideas and questions.
I don't want to be right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't need to be right for my ego. I want just the truth, whatever the truth is.
Yes.
If the truth is that we have, that we're all children of aliens from another dimension.
How exciting.
Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We just want to know the truth. Now, the Christians just left the channel just there. It's like,
bye.
Bye. So
come back.
It's like,
we're not that scary.
We're talking about aliens. But so, for those of you who don't know me, I have a history. I was an Air Force pilot. I was active with some special operations, although that wasn't my main thing. I was tangentially very involved with aviation as it relates to special ops. I did fly the President's Secret Service, the limousines, the Beast. I flew those. I augmented the 89th Air Force. I deployed the 82nd Airborne, 101st Airborne. I used to fly the DEA. I pushed Navy SEALs out the back of my plane.
Did you?
So in the middle of the night, those crazy people, and I go back to my hotel room. But so there's a lot of stuff that I've seen, but what I've learned is that I have more questions about what's happened, and the more things that are presented as truth, the more they don't jive with what I've actually experienced.
But go back to, there's now going to be a military operation. Well, that's what you think we're watching.
Well, no, we're at the end of it.
Oh, we're at the end of that. So this is the end. Okay, this is the end of this military, and this is what we're going to be watching, the end of what has already been established and executed.
So I showed you a book a long time ago that I think I showed you on Amazon.com. It's called Draining the Swamp.
Yeah.
All right. And I showed you how much that book is selling for.
I don't remember that. I remember you showing me the book. How much is it selling for?
Well, at the time, it was like $2,000 a book because it's out of print. Sorry. So I've got two copies of it.
Have you? That's good. Yeah. When was it written?
Back, I think, in the 70s.
Oh, interesting.
But there's only a limited number of copies. So my goal is to get one of them. I want to get both of them signed by all the players when the dust settles for the military operation. I want to get both of them signed by all the players, and I'm going to auction one of them off, and 100% of the proceeds from the one I auction off is going to go towards the Earth Angel Project.
Great.
So it's going to be philanthropic, and I'm going to keep the other one.
That's good. And then what you also could do is go to the copyright owner and see if we can put it back in print, and we could do that through the Light Age Press if you want, because that could be circulated again. I mean, out-of-print books don't have to stay out of print.
Yeah, they do, and I have one that's rare.
Yeah, well, you sell it first, darling. Offload it first, and then we'll make it when we'll flood the market.
You're talking about the Federal Reserve now, where you flood the market with dollars to devalue.
I'm a businesswoman, darling.
Right? Okay, so let's reel this in a little bit. So my perspective is one from a military perspective. As we look at these notes from the inauguration, let's talk in terms of the different jurisdictions. There's different jurisdictions. We're looking at a parallel operation. And the reason it's so confusing, it's the land of confusion, right? Like the intro music.
Intro music, yeah.
It's the land of confusion because we have parallel operations going right now. There's the front end of the machine that the world sees, and then there's the back end. I like to call it the ghost in the machine. Mm-hmm. And the ghost in the machine is the part that nobody sees.
And the ghost in the machine is the part that's taking care of issues and repairing the issues, repairing the problems, right?
I'll show you the actual military patch for the intelligence organization, and it's literally the ghost in the machine.
But tell me, the ghost in the machine is a positive force to reinstate what we're all wanting in this country, which is harmony, inner peace, freedom, security.
Well, you can't, all you can do is build the circumstances.
Yeah, then people have to take it from there.
Because the Constitution says you have access to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Okay.
So you have access to those things.
So make that available, and it's up to everyone what they do with it.
It's the pursuit.
Yes.
If you never accomplish it or you never pursue
that's up to you.
That's onto you.
Yeah.
So my perspective is that we're seeing a military operation. I have a reason to believe this, that what we've just experienced with the 4 years of Mr. Biden, so-called Biden in the office, is that there was an executive order written on December 7th, 2020. It was Executive Order 13961. I might be wrong on that, but I think it's 13961.
It's probably 6'2". I'm just kidding.
Okay, so, but that military order, what it did was so from the time, this is the December 7th, 2020. Now, the election with Joe Biden just took place. It's widely accepted that there was a lot of questions. I'm not saying it was a rigged election. I'm saying there was a lot of questions about the integrity of that election. Okay?
For sure.
Now, those questions were not addressed. It was pretty clear. When you look at the flights that were over monitoring the elections, it was pretty clear from the data packets that all of the servers were connected to the internet. There was external control of our elections. Those packets were going to places like Madrid, Spain, Frankfurt, Germany, and even the Vatican. So those connections, those internet connections to our machines, those are supposed to not be connected to the internet. They're supposed to be secured. It was supposed to be the most secure election of all time, yet the military was able to track and say, well, no, they weren't. Now, you can't come up and just say, well, no, they weren't, because now you're going to have all this conspiracy, all this back and forth, fighting, and we're going to have a civil war. So the last thing in the world we, the people Americans, want is a civil war. The first thing that a global elite group wants to do is destroy America from within.
Yeah, so they want the civil war.
So a civil war, because if you have, I think we have like 13 trillion rounds of ammunition here, just amongst us.
I think my husband has about equal to
He's
that.
got about half of it himself, right? But there's a lot of us with a lot of rounds in our house, in our purse. Like, you're not going to invade America very easily. But if you can get Americans fighting each other and let America defeat itself from within. So,
straight out Machiavellian technique, isn't it?
So one thing we don't want is for Americans to fight each other. But they tried. But America's a peace lovers. We don't want to fight each other. We want peace and love and joy and harmony.
Do.
We want, even if you're different than me, I want you to thrive.
Yeah.
I want you to be very wealthy. I don't want you to have pain and suffering. Most Americans...
I know, but I think most Americans agree with us.
Well,
That's
most Americans do.
Yeah.
That's why they could not get us to fight each other, because we're peace lovers. So now you've heard these people say, trust the plan, trust the plan. What I'm sharing with you is the plan. We, the people, are the plan. They always talk about these three branches of government, right? And there's the legislative, which make laws. There's the judicial that judge people. And then the executives, which are the managers, right? They execute things, like make plans work. But there's a fourth fourth one, and it's called We the People. And they never talk about we the people, but we the people are the plan. We are the plan. So all of this was designed. The military did not want a kinetic. Kinetic means shooting
Moving
bullets.
energy. Yeah.
Shooting bullets. They don't want shooting bullets and dropping bombs. They don't want that on American soil. So how do you win a war without firing a round? How do you win the war with minimizing casualties? How do you do that? We go back to a book called Sun Tzu and the Art of War, and books like it, where the best wars are won without even a shot being fired.
Yeah.
So the way you do that is with what's called an
Gandhi had read Lao Tzu's book,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah.
So the way you do this is with asymmetrical warfare, which we used to call special operations, but it's asymmetrical and psychological. So there was a bunch of tools used against us over the years. And all these tools, central to the tools they used is what's called the Hegelian dialectic. Dialectic's an electrical term.
Ends in a C.
But a dialectic. Basically what that means is that if I cause a problem, it's problem, reaction, solution. So I'm going to cause a problem. I'm going to get a reaction from the people that were damaged by that problem. And then we're going to give them a solution. So here's an example. Let's blow up some buildings in New York. Let's blame these cavemen in Afghanistan. So there's the problem. We just got attacked. Who did it? These cavemen. So what's the reaction? Let's go to war. So if you want to create a war, that's a good way to do it. Problem. What's the reaction? Hate. Right? So they poke the bear. We're the bear. They bomb our people. They kill our people with controlled demolition of these buildings in New York.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
So they create a problem. What's the reaction? We're afraid. Protect our skies. Let's get this TSA. I'll surrender. You can pat me down. You can search my children, search my daughter.
I just want to feel secure.
I want to feel
line.
secure.
Yeah.
So if you want people to surrender their guns, surrender their freedoms, do all these things.
Make them feel insecure.
So how do you do that? Problem, reaction, solution. Here's the problem. You just got attacked. Who did it? These people. Let's
Create
go to war.
a problem, blame someone,
Somebody.
and then
There's the reaction. Now people react by
Remedy it.
saying, same thing with school shootings, right? Oh, we need to get rid of all guns. Why don't you get rid of all the cars? Why don't we get rid of all the medical doctors?
quite, yeah.
There's more people killed from what's called iatrogenics, which are death by medicine, every year than guns,
Yeah.
by a multifold. So create a problem, get the reaction, offer a solution. Now the problem is, as you know, because you've written these books, the amazing books, you got to get control of your mind. So when you look at government, govern is to control, ment is mind. It's mind control. They're telling you right there, it's mind control.
And believe them, yeah.
So what a bunch of patriots did, this goes back to the early 50s with the Eisenhowers. They were warning back in the 40s and 50s. Eisenhower's like, this military-industrial complex, which now is military-industrial, educational, pharmaceutical, it's the whole thing. It's so big, it's so out of control, and they're all in bed with each other. How do you dismantle that? How do you take it apart? How do you defeat that?
Well, I think part of this show will be a contribution to taking apart, because what we're doing is just advancing this news, this theory, right? So the more people that cotton on to this, it weakens the entire system. So, but not a lot of people are trekking in the way that you're trekking. They're just watching the news, believing it, and then reacting. That's all that's happening.
So what I'm doing, and thank you for that, because when you and I sat down to do this show, this was not about what's going on around us, the three-dimensional stuff.
Theory of
not
everything.
Not even close. But I think this is really important for all of our soul's journeys to understand that we're beautiful, we are powerful, we're free, we're creators. What our job to be is to keep the freedom, to love each other, to shroud everything we do in peace and love and kindness. And believe it or not, and I'm talking as a warrior, most every warrior I know, true warrior, does not want to fight. Every martial artist I know that I've even fought against, you don't even know that they're a skilled trained killer. They don't market it. They don't advertise it. They use it when they have to, and then they're back to normal.
My son, I told you recently, he got his black belt, and he's been training at a local dojo in town. And the black belt, it's the owner's son. He's a lovely kid. And he's quite short, but he is lethal. He's a black belt. I mean, he could kill you with his bare hands in like 10 seconds. Right. And he used to go out. He'd stop going out because he'd go into Orlando and he'd go into a bar and people started picking a fight with him because he had cauliflower ears and he was always being teased about his ears. And he ended up realising I could fucking kill someone. So he didn't go out anymore because he was picked on. And he was absolutely deadly. Beautiful soul. Beautiful soul. But
and this is, Robin and I are in our 30th year, and
nice.
She's never seen me drunk.
Oh, my husband's seen me drunk.
But the reason is because.
Have you ever been drunk? Have you ever?
Oh God, yeah. When I was in college.
Did you? Oh yeah, and did you enjoy it, or did it just make you puke?
I mean, I come from a family that has issues with alcohol,
yeah, me
so
too.
I recognize that. Even in myself in college. I did some stupid things. I injured people. Because if
God.
No, for real, I did.
What, intentionally? Or just
no,
being
I was
stupid?
I was drunk.
Yeah, you were drunk.
Right? But if you're drunk and you're skilled with martial arts, that's a really stupid
thing.
thing.
If I get drunk, I sit by a lake in a nice chair and I listen to music. So I think it depends on your environment.
Well, you're like my brother, but for me, I'm pretty spirited. Yeah. Back then, I was like...
Yeah.
I was lifting weights. I was just like, you don't want to mess. But the problem is, when you drink even one drink, your prefrontal cortex is downregulated.
Yeah.
So your decision-making is poor. So even though I'm peaceful, one little thing can trip you.
Yeah.
And once
it's very weird with me. I can literally tell after half a glass of, like 3 ounces of Chardonnay, that my driving's different, right? I've left a restaurant, had half a glass of wine. I'm speeding up to the music. And I'm just different after a very, very small amount of alcohol. It has a very definitive and immediate effect. And that's just a small amount, let alone if you keep on at it. So anyway, I'm glad you've been drunk and I'm glad you don't drink now.
Yeah, but the point is there's certain combinations of things like drinking and being a martial artist that you don't want to mix. Yes. Those are bad things. Yes. So anyway, let me just blow through these real quick because otherwise this is going to become like an 18-hour presentation. Yeah. So first thing I noticed was the military. Everything was led with the military. It threw me back to 2017 with Trump's inauguration. It was very unique, but he had the military coming behind him for about a minute back last time he was inaugurated. And that was very significant because of what he said. So I'm not going to talk about what he said back
let's
then.
not get in the weeds.
We won't go there, but it's very important that you go back to his last inauguration and you look at the people standing behind him the first time he was president, as President 45, and observe that the bands on the heads of the people behind him represented the judge advocate as well as the special investigators for the military.
So when I write the summary of this, for anyone listening, these points, if you forget them, just read the summary and I'll highlight these.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
The second thing is I was very surprised. I expected to see the peace flag flying, and I still saw the war flag. The flag that you've seen the whole life, that people generally recognize as the American flag. It's got the white stars on the blue background and then the horizontal red and white stripes, right? That's the war flag. And it's been really ours since the 40s. I mean, in our lifetime, we've never seen the peace flag. I expect in the next couple of years, we're going to see the peace flag again. And I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. So
that was just a thought. That you nailed it. Number 3, Melania's dresses. That was the third thing I put on my list of 5 pages. The next thing was I heard this said repeatedly, the heart of democracy. People, stop it. We don't have a democracy. We don't want a democracy. We have a republic. And for those of you who don't know the difference, if you have half the people in this country that say to you, let's say we're a pure democracy, and 51% of the people say you must shave your head and you must have a tattoo on your left arm of some kind. 51% of the people. A democracy says those 49% must do. They must shave their head and they must get a tattoo on their left arm. That's democracy. So stop saying democracy. We have
As if it's a good thing.
it's a bad thing. We have a democratic republic. The difference is this: 51% in democracy wins. 51% wins.
And in a republic?
The individual wins.
Great.
If you really believe in individual rights and you want to shave your head and you want a tattoo and you want to pierce your
Vagina.
your butt, pierce whatever you want, go ahead and do it. It's nobody else's business.
Yeah.
Under a constitutional republic, we're a nation of laws, common law, not maritime law, common law, that says, you do you, boo.
Yeah.
Sarah,
Yeah.
you want to pierce your navel, go for it.
Yeah.
But don't force me to pierce mine.
Right.
You want to teach your kids that
That the God of Abraham is real, go ahead. But
Yeah.
it's not what I want to believe or teach my kids.
or
Just-
that we come from aliens, or we have whatever. If you want to teach them that, go for it, but don't use your force. And there's a bunch of types of force. Don't use your force to force my kids to adhere to
Yes.
what your beliefs are.
So a republic.
So a republic is about the
for
individual.
which it stands. Yeah.
It's about the individual.
Which is the individual.
And so it's super important. So within that context, right after that, they kept on talking about bipartisan. Stop it with the bipartisan. This whole party idea is bullcrap. We need to stop it because there's as many parties in this country as there are people. There's 330 million parties here.
Each individual's.
When you say I'm a blue party or I'm a red party, you're just being a tribe. It's tribalism. And all you're trying to do is you're trying to function as a de facto democracy through representation. Because if we can win this 51-49, what the hell difference is it? You're still using force, and you're still
To get
using
people to coerce them to do what you think is right.
We need people to come into their own.
Yeah.
Your rights, people will take your rights from you unless you stand up.
Yeah.
That's why we have the TSA today, because nobody's standing up and saying, hey, this is stupid. That was an inside job. You guys are just trying to scare us into surrendering our guns, our rights, our free speech. You're trying to scare us. Stop it.
Fuck you.
Stop it. Go away. So I know I'm kind of word vomiting on you, but
No, you're good, darling.
so anyway, I like the idea that they really put a focus on the Space Force. When they showed the military, they showed when you looked at the emblems on the shoulders, on the arms, the uniforms, about half of what they showed were either Space Force or Marines. In the end assessment, the only real military that is constitutional right now is the Space Force and Marines. No disrespect to the Air Force and the Army and stuff. I'm an Air Force graduate. I went to the Air Force Academy. However, the leadership in a lot of the mainstream media has been compromised. So really the impetus behind this continuity of government, what we're seeing in the deployment of the reconstitution for America, is a result of the Space Force and of the Marines. Just in full disclosure, there's probably some good core Navy people in there too. Some very core Navy people probably way at the top. But the Navy and the Marines are kind of function as one unit, so that makes a lot of sense to me actually. So I do appreciate some of the little terms that were thrown in there. I want to make sure people understand the difference between freedoms and liberties. Freedom is something that you have. Americans are free people. You're beautiful, you're powerful, you're free. You're free. You don't need anybody to grant you. Nobody grants you freedom. It's yours. You own it until you give it up.
Yes.
It's yours until you surrender it.
Quite.
Liberty is just the opposite.
No.
Liberty is like, you're a slave, we own you. Oh, but you want the weekend? We give you liberty.
So I've never really considered liberty to be an ugly word. That's interesting, isn't
So
it?
just words matter.
Yeah, they do.
But a freedom is something you own. Liberty is something that you're
like
given.
it.
You're given
Yeah.
liberty.
Yeah, I like the distinction.
And you know what? People can argue. I don't care.
Well, yeah, these are just ideas.
These are just ideas.
Yeah.
Shelter from the storm. Somebody talked, and I think it was the girl in the green, the senator in the green or something. Somebody said something about shelter from the storm. Central to this whole thing is the storm being upon us. We're in a storm. All of the military boards, we call them different things, but basically there's these boards that we follow, and we share communications and clues with each other about what's actually happening, but we always refer to it as the storm being upon us. I talked about the three branches of government. The powers, somebody acknowledged finally that the powers came from the people, and I think it was a Democrat on the mic that said the powers came from the people. And so I wanted to just kind of reference that real briefly because I think it's valuable for, I'm going to look something up. So give me your thoughts while I'm looking this up.
I don't have any right now. I'm meditating.
Oh, you're meditating? Somebody wake her up. So, okay, so I'm going to go, I got to read this because, where is it here?
I'm looking out your window and I can just see all these beautiful birds in your pond.
You're so funny.
I love this view. I'm glad I got to sit in this seat. What are you looking at? Oh, you're looking at, oh, wow, that's a huge, huge closet.
You're so funny.
It's lovely. I've never noticed this. I've always been looking this way. Wow.
Okay, so...
Did you get it?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right here. Official announcement.
Press enter.
Oh, you're so funny. Okay, I'm gonna have to punt on this one, but basically, I thought I had it queued up and saved, but when you read the Constitution, the American Constitution, the original one, not the one that's been changed a couple times, but the original one, it says we have the right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. We have, I should say...
But liberty is a bit of a joke in the context that you've said it, so I need to think about that because it's a very interesting point.
I don't want to misspeak. When I talk about the founding documents, I mean the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. I mean, in a broad sense, the founding documents. But basically, government derives its just powers. Just is justice. Powers from the consent of the governed. That's central to our belief system as Americans, right? Mm-hmm. But it also goes on to say that when that government stops serving we the people, and the abuses become so abhorrent, so extensive, so ubiquitous, those are my words, not the founders.
Yeah.
When it becomes so abhorrent, then you cannot do it. They will not do what they're supposed to do. It's not only our right to throw off that government, it's our duty to throw off that government. So in other words, this whole idea of being an insurrectionist, that is when it's not lawful, but we have a constitutional duty.
To be that.
If that government is so corrupted, where they're no longer serving us, and it further goes on to say...
Well, that happened in France, didn't it? With the storming of the Bastille, the peasants thought, fuck it, and then they got Louis, whatever Louis it was, and Mary Antoinette, and just said, we've had enough. That was the insurrection in its own way, wasn't it? So they decided, no, we've had enough, don't want to be treated like this, and so we the people are going to band together.
It goes one step further and says, after you get rid of that government, you should replace that government with the government that has got the highest probability, and again, I'm wordsmithing it, the highest probability of restoring life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
And then you have to talk about, and another episode we'll have to talk about how you locate and elect those people.
Yep, we'll do that.
Yeah, we'll do it on Friday.
There was a lot of stuff on prayers.
We can still do more of this on Friday because there's a lot to talk about.
Okay, yeah. I will just, I don't know, I can rifle through this real quick. I don't think you have to
go for it, yeah.
I was pretty amazed with how much prayer there was. There was seriously, we're going to have 5 or 6 people do prayers. So that was a little bit too much for me.
I'm kind of into that, but prayer to me is a different thing. It's more of an inner thing that you do with your own maker.
It seemed to me like a little bit of...
Yeah, well, he has to appease the Christian right, so that had to be in there because a lot of people needed that because he got their votes.
Okay, so let me get to the meat and potatoes here. I know this is all over the place.
You don't eat meat, darling. You only eat potatoes.
Let me get to the...
Potatoes and spinach.
Potatoes and broccoli here. I'm not going to go through all this right now, but what I will say is this.
Well, let's put it in the show notes for sure. I'll take that, and then I can put that in the summary.
I don't even know if you can summarize these, because these are just bullet points.
Okay.
But let's just do this. I want people to question everything. When
Me too.
When Donald Trump, I won't call him President Trump, to me he's still Commander Trump.
Yeah.
I know you think he was inaugurated yesterday, but in my world, he's still Commander Trump.
And he always was.
He was since December 7th.
Okay.
Now, the action when the so-called Joe Biden, when the legislators on January 6th didn't do their job, that was the actual insurrection. So everyone talks about the insurrection. The legislators not doing their job, that was the insurrection. That was the action that forced the implementation of what they call the continuity of operations that subsequently became the continuity of government.
Excellent.
So what you saw
Nicely
over the
said.
past 4 years of Joe Biden, which wasn't Joe Biden, but
I know,
he
that's
was a
weird
great
as
actor.
fuck, isn't it?
What you saw was what's called a continuity of government. It was operations, then it converted to government. So Joe Biden, prior to his so-called departure, signed a couple of orders. One of them was to pardon his people. The second one was the rescission of key elements of Executive Order 13961. He rescinded like 4 or 5 or 6 key components of that, which basically indicates to us that we've moved out of phase 3 of the continuity of government into phase 4. And what's notable about it is the timing. The timing of, like, why would this so-called President Biden, on his last day, on his last effort, on his way out, why would he close this executive action or this executive order out? What did that executive order say? Well, the executive order was what was put in place on December 7th, before Trump left the first time, to tell what's going to happen these past 4 years. Mm-hmm. And on his last day in his official job, being the placeholder executive for the U.S. corporation, Joe Biden says, my job here's over. So he rescinded that, closed it, and we are now experiencing America's golden age.
You know what was really fucking funny? When I got in my car this morning and David Bowie, Golden Years, came on, and I kind of reflected forward because I knew you were going to say this. These are the golden years. And I was thinking the very same thing driving here. These are the golden years. Yeah,
so one thing I want you to, I look for the subtleties. You saw J.D. Vance very clearly. The camera angle was very clear.
I'm going to have to watch this all again now and look at what you're saying.
He was very clear. He was kissing his kids, pulling his wife in. He put his hand right on the Bible. It was very clear.
Right.
He was sworn in. His hand was on the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. Trump was, quote, sworn in.
Should be my new Bible, the next inauguration, the one that I'm writing.
Okay. Well, when I'm sworn in, I'll use your Bible. Right?
I was just going to recommend you run for yourself. I think that's a great idea.
So watch this. Oh, they can't afford me.
You'd have to do it for free, darling.
I'll do it for free just because I love people. But in fact, if y'all vote for me, I'll do it for free. I promise.
There you go. There'll be some perks.
I don't need your money.
But there'll be some perks. You've already got a lot of money. You don't need it.
I just want to bring forth heaven on earth. So here's the deal.
Right.
You cannot find Trump's hand on the Bible. His wife walked up.
I wondered why she was carrying it.
So Melania walks up behind him and she's got his Bible, right? This is the Bible that he was sworn in on before. This is like the family Bible, supposedly.
Sacred to them.
Sacred to them.
Yeah.
She was holding it, but his hand wasn't on it.
Okay. See, that's weird because I noticed that and I'm like, what the fuck?
Now, I was preoccupied with the time frame because Joe Biden, when he was supposedly sworn in, was sworn in like 10 minutes early. I forget the number, but it was not at noon. And it has to be at noon because noon is constitutional. The Constitution says noon. It doesn't say 11:50. Yeah. It doesn't say 12:01.
What time was it? Because I thought it was right around noon.
J.D. Vance was right on at noon. So J.D. Vance...
So what's the implication of that then?
Well, let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. J.D. Vance puts his hand on the Bible. He's sworn in. He's sworn in as the CEO of the U.S. corporation. Because remember, we have 2 different operations here. One is the corporate structure called the U.S. corporation, which J.D. Vance just took it over. Now Trump comes in. He takes the oath, raises his right hand. His left hand is not on the Bible. Right? He's sworn in. Everyone claps. He does his thing, dog and pony show. Yeah. Why did he not put his hand on the Bible?
Why?
Well, there's a lot of pushback on that.
What's your take?
My opinion my hypothesis is that it's no different than I've been telling you. It's a continuity of government. We just closed phase 3, and now we're still in the continuity of government, but they've changed the characteristics. It's now going into the reconstitution phase, which is a de facto golden age for America. Now, what does this mean? It means that Trump is still functioning as the commander-in-chief, aka the functional de facto president of America, because he's said repeatedly, you've heard him say this every time he speaks to I'm a wartime president. You've heard him say that, right? I'm a wartime president. I'm a wartime. Well, if you're a wartime president, what you're really saying is that I'm the commander-in-chief.
Yeah.
You've never seen Biden with the secrets. You've never seen him with the codes to the nuclear. So one of the guys that's in my group of people's, his name's John Harold. Great guy, good information. We don't see eye to eye on stuff, but he does put out some good stuff. He basically says it's like he calls it the playpen approach, where you put Biden in the playpen, give him all the tools he needs to kind of do his thing, but nothing that'll burn the house down, right? So you just give him what he needs to be occupied, but he's not going to burn down the house.
Keep going, yeah.
So I think that's important. So what we can look forward to is this. Now, I sat down, I took up cash positions with some of my investments last week because I wanted to hear what the executive orders were. Because every executive order is going to have an impact. And I didn't see any of everything I saw was what I expected. However, I didn't get all of what I expected. I was really hoping that we'd hear something about auditing the Federal Reserve. We did hear that the IRS was going to become the external revenue service.
I liked that.
Which is great, because we're really going back to the...
And that's the tariffs. We've got inland and external.
But that's the way it used to be. When you look at
it makes sense completely. When he said this has to make sense, I thought if he doesn't say anything else, that's the best thing he's ever said.
Yeah, what you're going to find is that all of the things he's saying, because the modern, the people who study economics and stuff, they're just like, well, this isn't going to work. They have this Keynesian, they're looking at through Keynesian lens economics. Mm-hmm. When you look at Austrian economics and you're backing away and you're saying, let the free market go, let's get a stable currency that's backed by precious metals, aka gold, aka America's gold. Mm-hmm. Everything Commander Trump said was true. We have resources, we have all of these things. This is the Holy Land. North America is the Holy Land. All of this stuff that there's a bunch of dirt. I know people are going to hate me for this.
No one's going to hate you, darling. It's just an idea. And if you start hating because you don't like someone's ideas, then you need to work on yourself.
But this, to me, where we are is the Holy Land. And we are holding the light. We are the light bearers. We are the protectors. And if you look at the name of the Space Force, they're not sailors. They're not airmen. They are guardians.
Nice.
So we are the guardians of the light. Some of us are in uniform. They're the guardians. But others of us are souls. We're spiritual guardians where we're putting light out there and we're holding that light. And we're not going to let darkness defeat us.
Yeah.
We're going to let that. So I expect, moving forward, I expect a sequential release of these executive orders. I'm not sure what's true and what's false. I'm admitting that.
When we get together on Friday, let's go through these executive orders. Yeah.
Because they're going to be trickling out.
Yeah.
I was looking to take advantage of some of them because, here's an example of just what I was looking for that didn't happen. I was expecting there to be an executive order that says pharmaceutical companies are no longer going to be allowed to market directly to consumers. Okay, so I was looking for that because look at the cascade effect. Look what's going to happen. If you take away the pharmaceuticals' ability to market on TV, all these media companies, radio, TV, all those pharmaceutical companies, those commercials go away. The revenue goes away. They get an 85% chop to their bottom line. Therefore, the de facto so-called mainstream media disappears.
Wow.
Who picks up the pieces? What about something like DJT?
What's that?
That's the stock symbol for DJT, which is Donald John Trump.
Okay.
That's Trump
Well, that's
Media.
the J.
Trump Media. The former owner, Trump Media, DJT, used to be TM. I think it was TM.
That's so weird because last night I was talking to my husband, Tony, and he was talking about CNN and Fox. And I said, Trump needs to have his own platform on TV. We'd already talked about that last night. So get rid of all the farmers, get rid of all the bullshit that's poisoning us, and then put better nutritional, I'm talking about spiritually nutritional stuff on there.
So I picked up, this is years ago, but I picked up stock. It was TMTC, it was initially. The day it was offered, I picked it up. TMTC, it was called Trump Media and Technology Corporation or something. And this is like a long time ago, but I picked it up, just threw it in my portfolio. Then later on, like a couple of years ago, I guess, it turned into DJT. So they just renamed it. So now it's sitting there, I don't even know, it's like $30 a share or something like that. But they have a lot of liquid assets capable of buying the media companies, when the mainstream media falls apart and everything goes to pieces, somebody's going to go in there and buy up all the pieces. So if you have the resources like a Trump Media Corporation,
well, like Oprah did,
you can go and buy up all the pieces.
all the airtime.
So I want to position. There's also cryptocurrencies. I was looking for signals.
My son bought Bitcoin last week, and he did $1,000, and it rolled over to 1,000. He's made a lot of money just in a week on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and there's
he's going to gamble it in Atlantic City this weekend and try and double down.
Yeah, and so Bitcoin's it's going to be there probably forever, or at least in some capacity. Some people consider it virtual gold because it's very stable. And when you compare it to all the other alternatives, since nobody can print money, they just can't come and get a printing press and defeat the Bitcoin. It's become a de facto standard of a hold of value worldwide. Yeah. Now there's other cryptocurrencies. There's other cryptocurrencies coming up that are what's called ISO, which is an international standard, ISO 20022. There's like 7 or 8 maybe cryptocurrencies that have that standard. They meet that standard, which means that you can transact business worldwide using this standard. That means it's safe, it's secure, it's encrypted, and you can't defeat it. So there's different levels of that. So I couldn't use any of the current executive orders to get a feel for where that's going.
But you say they're going to be trickling out sequentially, so you can wait for that.
So I would say to wrap up, y'all, this is a lot of words coming at you, but understand that what Sarah and I are doing.
Well, I think listen to this and then watch again if you've recorded the inauguration, because I did for Tony. Watch again, because I was looking at it. I wasn't just looking at the fashion. I was listening and looking for other things. But I'm going to go back and watch it and then understand it from the way that you were viewing it, because I think it's very interesting. I like all that symbology. I like the mystery behind it. I like the military stuff behind it.
Well, if you like the military, what I'm going to do is
I don't love it like you do, but it's intriguing.
Well, I love it only
because you've been one. You've been in the military.
Well, it's not like I want to. It's not like I sit there and like, oh my goodness, what can I?
It's in your blood.
Well, I'm a defender.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend in Jupiter gave me a bracelet that says Mama Bear. Because I'm usually a very peaceful person, but man, if you mess with my people,
I'll fuck you up.
It's an ugly look. It's a
so
bad
we'll end
look.
with that.
So what I will do is I'm going to put some links in. If you're on Rumble, I would encourage you to look for a guy. Let's see, there's a couple people, but I'll put them in the show notes. But just look in the show notes. Go to souldecodes.com. Look for this episode, which will be the inauguration episode, and just go ahead and look for it and follow the notes. Just do a deep dive. John Harold does a great job. The other one I'll put is Derek Johnson. He's a good old boy from out in Texas, big old hat and everything. But both of these individuals have different perspectives on what's going on. Both of them are complementary.
And let us know your perspective.
And they're very smart people. So. Yeah. And they're the first ones to say, look, none of us know what's going on, but based on the information, this is what we're seeing.
And any of our listeners, if you've got something that you think needs to be discussed, let us know. We'll research it and give it some time.
Yeah, and we're not going to pretend to know the answers, but we have more.
We can ask questions,
We have a lot of questions.
Yeah, we can start digging around.
So, Sarah, we're going to meet up on Friday. We'll talk some more, but I want to give a special. We're going to go out with the rest of the song from Jenna Sharp.
Yes.
Her link's in the show notes. Jenna, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jenna.
It was
I listened to it last night. I was blown away by your voice. You've got a big future, darling.
It was a last-minute call. It was like midnight our time. I'm
I know, it was great.
oh, she's waking up. So I sent her a note. Please, let us use this. And thank you so much for letting us use your beautiful voice to take us out of this episode.
Love
thank
that.
you. All right.
Thank you, Jenna.
All right, be well.
A few moments later.
This on the mic. Why didn't you do it Friday on the mic?
Well, I just turned the mics back on.
Oh, did you? Okay. 'Cause
So Sarah walked in and said, "Oh, I like your trash can."
It's a Barbie can. It's a beautiful Barbie pink. My whole bedroom. I've got this enormous fucking bedroom, right? It's probably like 1,200 square feet, and I painted it the same colour pink.
I literally shut off the mics and turned it back on. But Sarah, we missed your birthday. We missed your Christmas. Plus we love giving you stuff. But
that's so funny.
When you were at my house for the entrepreneur thing,
Yes, I missed
Robin
taking
said
that.
you liked that book, so
I do.
just go ahead and take that book. And
I'll return it to you.
I wanted you to.
I love the illustrations in this.
Robin and I wanted you to have this gift too. This is your. You can have
My Barbie
your
trash
Barbie
can. I'm going
can.
to treasure it.
But that.
You have no idea how pink my life is.
Yeah, her life is pink. But I wanted. This is Lily. I don't know if are you familiar with Lily Pulitzer?
No.
So she's from.
What is it? What's in here? It's a candle set.
Yeah, but it's.
Oh, lovely.
I love her colors. She's from. I think she's from. I was.
Does she make her? She makes her own candles.
She passed away, but
Oh, bless
she
her.
she was in. She's from West Palm Beach, and I used to live in Jupiter, and we used to love.
Oh,
Yeah, it's crazy.
that's red currant. I love that. That's Jean, my sister-in-law's favourite.
Oh.
Red currant's amazing.
But we used to always
thank
see
you,
her
darling.
stuff in the West Palm Beach area, and I just loved it. And so Robin said, "Oh, Sarah needs this."
Oh, it's going right in my Barbie bedroom.
So anyway,
Oh,
we're
darling,
just.
thank you so much.
But we missed your birthday. Happy birthday! And I'm
Look at all
so
these
glad you're in our.
goodies.
So glad you're in our life.
Oh, look, sprouted. Oh, nice. So we've got seeds. How's your New Year's resolution going, by the way? I've done really fucking well. I'm not quite... I give myself a B+ for my New Year's resolution. How about you? It's been it was 3 weeks ago today.
Actually, I think I told you, but my New Year's is going to be March 21st.
You give yourself some time.
Okay, y'all.
Oh, look.
Oh, look.
Oh, my God.
She's opening her
this
gifts.
is so cute. These are ceramic pink hearts with little pink... I'm going to get a photograph tonight.
This is not me. This is Robin.
Oh, Robin, Robin's been around my bedroom, so she's really decorated. That's Robin. Thank you, darling.
You've got the pinkest bedroom I've ever seen.
I've got to get her a picture.
She's
tonight.
the sweetest girl in the world.
Oh, that is beautiful. Oh,
And
bless her.
but we both love you in our lives, and I'm grateful.
Oh, look at this.
Look at you go.
Is this Earl Grey? Afternoon blend. Fortnum and Mason's. Okay, Fortnum and Mason is where that's the Queen's department store. Fortnum and Mason, very special. Oh, it's the highest one. It's got the Queen's... Well, it's not a coat of arms. What does the Queen have in her Majesty symbol? What is like a coat of arms? Anyway, it's stamped on the freaking front door of Fortnum and Mason. That's very lovely. That better be really nice. It will be.
So
And
I don't know.
it's got the pink band on it, and I've got my... Oh, there's another thing here. She's such a sweetheart.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, pink mug. Oh, Robin, darling, thank you so much. Oh, that's so sweet.
I don't know if we should put this at the beginning of Friday or if the end of today.
I don't know, but I'm just. This is beautiful.
But you're special to us.
Thank you so much.
Okay, dear.
And that's so funny because I thought I'd loved your pink Barbie can, and
Well,
it was
now
all
it's
for me.
Now it's your pink Barbie can. Okay, y'all. Thanks for listening to.
Thank you, darling.
Thanks for listening to Sarah open her gifts.
Oh my.
All right, see you later. All right, bye.
I must have dreamed 1,000 dreams, been haunted by a million screams, but I can hear the marching feet. They're moving into the street. Did you read the news today? They say the danger's gone away, but I can see the fire still alight. They're burning into the night. There's too many men, too many people making too many problems, and not much love to go around. Can't you see this is the land of confusion? This is the world we live in, and these are the hands we're given. Use them and let's start trying to make it a place worth living in. Oh, Superman, where are you now? When everything's gone wrong somehow, the men of steel, men of power, losing control by the hour. This is the time, this is the place where we look to the future. There's not much love to go around. Can't you see this is the land of confusion? This is the world we live in, and these are the hands we're given. Use them and let's start trying to make it a place worth living. This is the world we live in, and these are the names we're given. Stand up and let's start showing just where our lives are going to.
Soul Decodes, a feature presentation, airs every Friday on the Earth Angel Media Network. This episode of Soul Decodes is sponsored and produced by Live Pure. Optimize your life by taking your health to the next level. Listen now to learn how Live Pure will make your world better.
Live Pure is an American-based distribution system of online portals that give discounted access to clean, potent, natural, and ethically sourced healthy solutions for fat loss, muscle gain, immaculate skin care, immune system support, whole body cleanse, physiological balance, and performance support for athletes of all ages. Live Pure handpicks the best products and nutrients from world-class companies, always adding to their quickly growing wellness lineup that now includes Korean skincare, medical-grade nutraceuticals listed as pharmaceutical alternatives in the physician's desk reference, and healthy coffee that rivals the world's best, but for only about $1 per cup. Soul Decodes listeners looking for vitality, youth, beauty, and better health can get 25% off retail by visiting livepure.com/Sarah Tirri and signing up for free as a preferred customer. If you are a content creator, influencer, or home-based entrepreneur looking for worldwide cash flows from the emerging gig economy, Live Pure's state-of-the-industry brand partner affiliate program can bring you up to 7 different payment vectors as bonuses. As a content creator aligned with Live Pure and Earth Angel Media, you will enjoy massive co-marketing benefits, including a cutting-edge website that is personally branded to you or to your business. Sign up as a brand partner at livepure.com/Sarah Tirri, or drop us a note at connect@earthangelproject.com to get more information.